Welcome to This Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever changing world. Today is June 24th, 2023, and this is episode 36. The heat has begun. All right, there's a couple things. I just came in from doing chores, so I'm a little windblown. I'm sorry about that. And I went to the optometrist, eye doctor, couple weeks ago or a week or so ago, and I should be getting some new glasses here pretty soon. And hopefully, we can get rid of the crazy grandma eye glare. We'll have to see. It would be nice if we could do that. And I know lighting has something to do with it too, but I've worked with lighting in here. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get the glasses. I needed the new glasses anyway. So, and then if that doesn't help, I will try again with lighting. Okay, farm happenings. Well, Tom has informed me that the tomatoes are beginning to ripen pretty good. He had one little cherry tomato come up next last week. And then a couple of days ago he brought in two or three more. But he says that my jet stars and I say mine. This is his garden. He's done a really good job of taking care of the garden this year. I'm grateful because yeah, I don't do well with gardening. I won't lie. And you will try. I try to have a good attitude about gardening and think that I can take care of it because that is one of the major things about feeding your family. And obviously, feeding my family is very important to me. But I'm not good at it. I don't enjoy it. I'm allergic to most of the weeds. So every time I go out there, I either get covered with looks like somebody just whacked me with or I have big red streaks on me where each time a weed of some sort comes across my skin. So either I can do that or I can put on long sleeves and be really hot while I'm out there. So I just don't enjoy gardening. So I'm glad that Tom was doing it on when he's doing on the evenings and weekends and stuff like that. So we are getting some tomatoes. And I may even have enough to do some canning this year. We'll just have to see. We've got two plants that are the little cherry tomatoes. Those are cool. We can munch on them, but it's also something I take to the church and people can munch on them for different events, like Wednesday night with the kids and the ladies' meetings and all that other stuff. So we'll just have to see. It'd be nice though. The peas in the garden are done. I left the plants there for a little while because I've got two or three pods, well, a few pods that are going to finish out. You know how you do when you're trying to save seeds, you let them finish on the vine. So that's what I'm doing with that. And so, um, so those are done. I need to get out there and take care of the rest of the broccoli, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not even going to get any cauliflower. I need to check for sure, but yeah, so those are done, but the tomatoes are coming on really good, and then the peppers are starting to. They're running a little late this year, so I guess that's no problem. I guess, but there are pepper plants, and Tom planted some squash plants too. Oh, speaking of squash, Tom's Uncle Joe, who lives just around the corner from us, and today we had just a nice visit with them. Vicky texted me and said, "I want to know if we had wanted any zucchini and yellow squash." And I'm going, "Yeah," because Joe is a prolific, wonderful gardener, and if they're offering us food out of his garden, I'm going for it. So we went over there, and it's been, I mean, literally live around the corner from us, and we just haven't gone over there to visit in probably years. I think the last time we went over there was a couple years ago when Uncle uh, Walter passed, and so yeah, it was nice to visit with them again. They're looking really good, and I'm glad for that too. So it was nice to be there. Another thing on the farm is Kinsey. That was a weird thing. You know how you have a power steering pump or power steering on your vehicles? Well, everybody else that I know of has where if it makes a funny noise or you can see that there's a way to check the power steering fluid, then you put fluid in it, and if you catch it in time, you don't do significant damage to your power steering. And we had to replace Tom's a few weeks ago on his '04 Dodge Rumblebee, but he had ignored it for years. I mean, every time you tried to turn on that, it growled and growled and growled. So you knew it was low. I mean, he would put fluid in it, but it still would growl. And he damaged it to the point where we had to pay like $1,300 to fix it. Yeah. Well, Kinsey was getting a code saying for power steering. I can't remember specifically what the code said, and we had to take it to a shop. And I was hoping it'd be just a part that you like that a little part that was on a firewall. I was hoping it was like a vacuum line or something that was keeping those done. But nope, they had to replace a whole rack and pinion set on that too, and that was another $1,300. So, whew, that's expensive. But she's got her car back. I'm really glad. She's really been good about her car. She's really good about telling me where she's going next. Can she do this? Can she do that? She's just been just a real uh, very good about it. And honestly, whenever she has to go somewhere, I either have to take her when her car was down, or I had to stay home while she went somewhere in my car, which was fine. But it was nice not to have so many miles on my car after she got her car and started driving. But we've got it back. They did a good job. It was just hard to shell out that kind of money. And both of those were kind of like almost emergency fund type things. So, well, maybe Tom's was kind of budgeted in, but Kenzie's was not necessarily. So I don't know. But her car's repaired, and she's doing good, and she's back on the road again. All right, my three things today. Number one was this podcast, and that's what we're in the process of doing today. And obviously, I've got a few other things I always have going too, but today was a podcast. Number two was getting some gardening done. I have some. I do some gardening, and um, mainly harvesting and putting up stuff, and then there's some stuff on our front porch. You guys, I don't know if anybody, whoever watches my YouTube channel, I got one of those not harvest right. What is it? Green stalk planters. Man, I love that thing. I may have to see if I don't know. I don't think I have enough viewers or anybody to get a affiliate link with Greenstock. But regardless, I may do it anyway just because I really like this thing. I really liked it because I harvested more parsley today. We had some buttery mint carrots for dinner, and I went out and I don't think that was in that pot. I think I put the mint in a separate pot so it wouldn't take over the rest of the green stalk. But I did harvest some more parsley today, and I think it was a little bit of oregano and a lot of sage. And so it's just been really nice. And of course, we've got strawberries, some little strawberry plants. I don't know what kind they are. They're the strawberry plants that we bought. We bought them at the ag shop up down at the school toward the end of the school year. And so every once in a while, Kinsey gets a little strawberry off of those. But everything's just really doing well. I think there's some flowers are kind of coming to the end of their life. They'll probably have to be replaced. But everything else is just beautiful. I'm really loving it. And number three, we finally got the dead mower it's been in the vineyard for almost a year. I think it died in the vineyard last August, and this is late June. And we finally got it pulled out of the vineyard so that I can have that space. I mean, I just wanted it's one less thing that's in the way so I can actually mow and maybe get some mowing done in the vineyard. I don't know. We'll see. It's still going to be a real hassle, but at least the mower's out of the way. We've got it up here next to the house with the other junk that needs to be hauled off, but at least it's kind of together. And I won't lie, I'm kind of grateful that it's out of there. Maybe I can get some work done there. So my three things was podcast, gardening, and move that mower. All right, what I'm reading. We're still in the 4-volume set of the Edgar Cayce collection. This is Edgar Cayce on Dreams. This is one of the books that's of that collection by Harmon H. Bro. So I guess that's how you pronounce that, PhD. Was written in 1968 as part of the Association for Research and Enlightenment. And we are on part 4, Self-Development Through Dreams, and on chapter 12, Orienting the Life Through Dreams, excuse me. Okay, so on page 135, yeah, this is kind of an interesting sentence here, and I'll read it to you. It says, in the view of Cayce's readings, no man or can or should invent his own life. There are too many unknowns for the consciousness to grasp. Let me read that again because I messed it up, okay? In the view of Cayce's readings, no man can or should invent his own life. There are too many unknowns for consciousness to grasp. And I have to admit, well, okay, so that's it then. We're not good. Dreams are going to have nothing to do, or we can't even invent our own life. We just got to go through life as it is. But there's more, so we'll elaborate on here a few minutes. Okay, so the first part of on page 136, the first one on this page is souls are not judged by absolute standards, Cayce said. They are judged by their fidelity to their own ideals, their own understanding, and they are not judged by their failures so much as by their willingness to get up and try again. Um, that that one struck me a little bit more because sometimes no matter how much you want to quit, you have to get up and go again. So he's saying, that your desire to get up and go again is one of the things that you may be judged on. And I don't know about you, I'm sure all of you have had points in your life where you just want to quit. And I had even come to a point in my life where I actually had even daydreamed about, okay, so if I quit, what would happen if I just quit life, just got completely out of life? What would happen? And I soon determined that no matter how badly I wanted to quit, there were too many people who counted on me to get back up and go again. And two of them were my own sons. So it was a terrible, terrible time in my life. And I really did want to quit, go away, run away from home. And right now I'm going through that right now. Anyway, wanting to run away from home. But uh, people who quit in life really hurt those that are around them. If you've passed, if you've gone on and died, that is a different type of quitting. There's nothing you can do about that. But if you're just in this life and you've quit, you are hurting yourself, you're hurting others. It's just not good. Okay, the second part of on page 136 is one does not need to invent his existence. He has only to use what is in hand, and the next will be supplies. So I think this kind of refers back to the one thing I had read on page 135. But we'll say it again. One does not need to invent his existence. He has only to use what is in hand, and the next will be supplied. And what I was thinking about that, because honestly, when I read the first thing, I thought, well, okay, forget it. But this kind of summed it up for me too. It goes hand in hand with my assertion that everything that I have been through in the past has been preparing me for something in the future. Um, Regardless of what's going on in your life, there are, if you look back at that particular incident, it was preparing you for something in the future. When you see how things are on the future, or of what you're going through now, you can see something in your past that had prepared you for it. And that's I found interesting. Okay, so that's all of that book. The next book about Edgar Casey will be on healing, and I'm not sure how much I've highlighted in there. It's been a while since I read this book, but we've got that's done for that one. I am re-listening to Atlas Shrugged. I did order a hard copy of the book so I could read it somewhere in the future. It's in line. I put everything in order. I don't know. I think there's 88, not 80. I don't have attention deficit disorder, but I do have um, okay, never mind. I don't know what I have. I want things a certain way, and I put everything like when I put my clothes away, they go in on the left side of the closet, and they come out on the right. If I put everything on my t-shirts and stuff that are in the drawer, the clean ones that just got washed put on bottom, and I always grab whatever's on top. So the book I ordered is at the end of the list, and it will get there. When it comes to the top, I will read it. But I am re-listening to Atlas Shrugged. So, and it is cool because you listen to something the first time and you kind of get caught up in the story a little bit and everything. And of course, because it's audio, you miss stuff. Somebody asks you a question, the dog runs in front of you, there's a chicken that's getting away, something is happening that kind of takes your attention away from what you're listening to. So you miss things. So I'm listening to it a second time, and it's been interesting to not only catch some of the stuff that I missed the first time, but also have a better understanding of what it was trying to tell me the first time. Okay, the quote of the day is from Frank Bering, Bering. He was the son of the famous hotel owner in Chicago. Um, his dad owned several hotels in Chicago. Frank became a scuba diver instructor in Florida after he graduated from college. And then when he moved to Aspen, Colorado, he joined the Air National Guard. And then he married his wife and opened several, two or three restaurants, apparently high name restaurants because they were naming what they were, in Aspen and Grand Chunk, Colorado. And his famous mantra was happiness is the meaning of life. And I thought, okay, that's cool. And you could drive a lot from that. What is, happiness is the meaning of life. Well, how do you get to happiness and stuff? So that's a whole nother rabbit hole we're not going to go down. I think there's a dog that wants to come in and he can't get in. So his quote is, live your life and forget your age. That one touched me today because I'm 60. I'm going to be 61 in a couple months. And then just maybe 6 months ago, I was feeling pretty strong and powerful, and I had lost some weight and feeling pretty good about myself and stuff. And then I've been struggling with some Achilles issues, where the Achilles tendon attaches to the heel in the back of the heel. Both of them are swollen, but one of them has been really swollen, and there are times when I can't even wear regular tennis shoes. I couldn't go to the gym for about 2 weeks, and it's been kind of painful. Actually, sometimes it's very painful because the swelling on the back of the heel shoves my foot forward, and so I've got calluses, painful calluses on the ends of my toes where it's been rubbing on the. And I've gone with bigger shoes and everything, and it's still not. It's been a mess. But I've been doing some research and stuff. But because I haven't been able to exercise like I need to, because I'm putting weight on again, because I'm limping, I'm throwing my back out. I mean, it's not out, but I'm out of whack. Everything, different things hurt. My back hurts, my hips hurt, my neck hurts, and my heels hurt, all because the backs of my heels are swollen, and I'm limping. So I'm trying to get that under control. I've been feeling old lately, put it that way. So I'm going to keep on working at trying to get the heels under control. And I've been going to the gym. I can't exercise full force. That's discouraging. So I'm feeling my age, which is kind of discouraging, but I've decided, just like Frank Bering says, live your life and forget your age, even if it is keep trying to remind you all the time. All right. The scripture of the day. And this has to do with what we're going to talk about with the heat is on as far as the weather goes here in Oklahoma. So Genesis 8:22. I thought this was a really cool one, and it's kind of cool because I'm gotten to where I'm specifically looking for scriptures to talk to you guys about on this podcast. And interesting ones keep popping up. So this one's Genesis 8:22, and it says, "As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." And this is when, after Noah was in the ark, had the rain 40 days and 40 nights, and then the ground was covered for a long time. I forget how long. And then as the waters receded and stuff, Noah and his family finally got to come out of the ark, and the animals came out of the ark. And then Noah did a um, he did a sacrifice of clean animals, and God found the aroma of this sacrifice pleasing. And this is part of the verse of what he was saying, that as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. And so we are in the part, we got the cold and heat, summer and winter. We are in the heat and summer. So that's why I chose this particular scripture. But I thought I always think it's interesting look in the background of some of this stuff too. All right, my main subject is the heat. It's on. It's been a dry spring. We've had some rain events, like that wicked storm that we had last Sunday. We got 1.6 inches of rain, but I haven't looked at records. I keep records of rain. I keep records of temperature and all that other stuff, but I don't always go back and look and see how it compares. I've always found every season, I always use the words like, "Oh, this has been an odd year," and weather in Oklahoma is very unpredictable. It's very odd, but this has been another one of those. If you think about here in Oklahoma, it's particularly well, no, in Oklahoma in general, usually the type of weather we've been having with the thunderstorms and the tornadoes and stuff like that usually happen at the end of March and in through April and May. Okay, the worst storms are usually May. Well, this is June that's almost over, and here we are been having tornadoes and stuff. So actually, I don't say March. Yeah, they start in March, all of April, and a good bit of it in May is when we have some of our worst weather. Well, like I said, it's June. We had two major storms blow through here. I'm understanding some Tulsa still, after nearly a week, don't have any electricity at the place. I was trying to think. I stopped because I was knowing that Broken Arrow, I think some of them only got their electricity on today, something like that. I can't remember. So I don't know. It's been kind of a rough season for that kind of stuff. So every year, every season, I think, oh, it's been an odd one. This is an odd one. Last summer, it started out really rainy, which is normal. It's normal if I have a rainy spring. But then it suddenly last year it dried up so fast, and so it got so hot so quickly that we had significant water troubles. Our water district works so hard to keep all the water running, but when it rains a lot and then it dries up, the pipes get heaved around in different ways, and they had two or three problems with pipes broken. So another time, a contractor busted a water pipe, and then we ran out of water. Another time, one of them had the valve on the water tower the wrong way, and it drained the water tower. But that's had nothing to do with the weather or anything. But still, with the weather, we have trouble when it goes from wet too hot and dry. Well, I've said it with my grapes too. A lot of times we'll have beautiful, beautiful grapes on our vines, and then it gets that hot, dry weather, and they just turn into little black BBs on the vine. I'm not sure. I get the feeling that the weather's been odd enough, even though it's been a relatively dry spring. And the heat is getting here now, but I think the grapes are big enough that we may end up with a harvest this year. Is way too early to tell, but right now it's looking pretty decent. So I'm glad for that. Uh, the winter this last year was cold, but it was not record breaking cold. Last summer, though dry, did not we didn't hold record breaking heat. I don't care, no matter what anybody tells you. There are records that are broken all the time, but there hasn't been. We went 2 or 3 summers in a row without ever eating. The heat index always goes above 100 degrees, but just the actual temperature itself, it has not gotten 2 or 3 years. It has not gotten above 100 degrees. Uh, so what I was going to say on that too. Okay, last spring we had the water rose, and then one year, and I can think what they say. I think it was like 2011, 2010, in the summertime. I can't remember. That summer was when we first started. I first come out here, and the vineyard was already planted. And I used to come out here when we lived in town. I'd come out here and try to take care of the grapevines. And it was 114 degrees, and I'm trying to keep these grapevines alive. And it was hard work. It was terrible, but and then we've never been that high again. What was interesting about that though is the very next winter we had like 44 inches of snow. We never get 44 inches of snow, but we got 44 inches of snow. And then after the snow fell, it got to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit here at the farm. And I think that's the only reason that the vineyard lived too, is because it was at 30 below. It should have killed most of the plants, and but the snow acted as an insulation. So we were lucky with that. We're blessed with it, however you want to put it. We've gone 2 or 3 years a year with no measurable snow at all. You get a little dusting or something like that. Sometimes maybe half an inch, but we went through several winters with just barely hardly any snow or anything at all. One of the things I had want to mention is I was listening to Jack Spirko with his podcast the other day. You know, a lot of people are talking about the Chat GTP, and where you can ask it questions and do things like this. Well, he did a specific thing because, like I said, we're always being told about global warming. We got to get rid of cows. We got to do all these changes because we're all going to die if we don't get everything under control, and we're all going to be underwater. All the coastal things are going to be underwater and stuff. So Jack Spirko got on ChatGTP and says, "Okay, I want to know the record dates, the record high for this date." And he went through a whole series of dates and stuff, and a lot of them were in the 40s. Some of them were some of them were more recent and stuff. Some of them were in the 30s. Some of them were the 1800s, but those were a little bit hard to do because you could say, well, how accurate could those have been? But when they started actually doing record keeping and stuff of the temperatures, that we are specifically not being global warming. I know they're calling it climate change. Okay, climate changes, guys. It changes. So that's life. That's part of life on Earth. It's always been that way. We had during the Revolutionary War, we were under a little, what they call it, a little ice age, and those people fought for our country in blizzard conditions on a regular basis, and very, very cold. And they're just, and if you ever even look at fossils and look at different things, if you actually study nature and the pattern it leaves and stuff, things get warmer, they get colder. They keep talking about taking care of the cattle and getting rid of them. Think about how many millions of buffalo were on in our nation when it was a young nation before the idiots went through this and just basically wiped them off the face of the earth, essentially. How many millions of they could blacken whole countrysides with just being there, and now they fart too. So I lament because we're being fed such terrible information for propaganda on so many different levels and on so many different subjects and it's just so hard to get even proper information to make proper decisions. And I guess it makes a difference on who you want to believe and stuff too. But this came from chat GTP, that came from the internet, that's basically left, being that was a lot of it has been programmed by left-wing people, and it still says that the record highs are not always right now. So just kind of want you to think about that. It is hot. It's been in the 90s. It's going to get hotter. And I'm doing a lot of things. I'm going out every morning and pouring more water into wallows for the pigs, and making sure everybody has plenty of water. And now that our water is fixed too, we can do the same thing. So I don't know. Just be careful and just do what you can. It's summertime. Suck it up. Let's deal with it. My story of the day, well, I was thinking about when it was been particularly hot. Well, like when it was 114 here and I was trying to keep the plants alive, and I didn't have water on the property yet. So that was a challenge. But I also remember whenever I was a kid growing up, we played outside all the time. That's what we did. You've heard people talk about it. We were told to go outside and play, go do things, and we did. But I remember when it was 108 degrees, it was hard. I think mom even had a little bit of sympathy for us because, we kept trying to go in and she going, no, y'all need to go back outside. You need to go back outside. But all we had the energy to do was just sit on the front porch and just kind of chill the best we could on the front porch. We had air conditioning in that particular house. There's air conditioning hasn't been around that long. I mean, I think one of the houses that we lived in South Tulsa or East West Tulsa when I was a kid didn't have air conditioning. I'm trying to remember. There's a couple of houses I lived in that may not have, but I know the one we lived down in Southwest Oklahoma had air conditioning. But if you're not inside to enjoy it, that's one thing. But we've got it good now with air conditioning, guys. That's no joke. All right, my question of the day for you is: do you have memories of hot weather when you were a kid, and how did you deal with it, and what did you do, or uh, just some hot weather memories? I'd appreciate if you send them my way. All right, guys, my income producing activity today is the fold card. Now, I haven't talked to you about this in a little while. This is that prepaid debit card that will help you to earn satoshis, and satoshis are miniature pieces of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin right now is doing pretty good. It's up. Let me try to say that properly, but it's up and gaining ground and doing pretty good. It goes up and down just like everything else, stocks, whatever. But right now it's up, and with this you put the money on the debit card just like you do anything else. You can have it where it comes automatically out of your account on a regular basis, like every payday, put a certain amount on it. You can actually transfer money to pay most of your bills and stuff too. And it also earns you 1% of whatever you spent on Satoshis. You get to spin the wheel to see if you can earn extra Satoshis. It's just kind of a good thing. So if you're interested in a really good way to earn Satoshis to get some Bitcoin and it doesn't cost you anything extra, go down to the link below and you'll see where it says for the fold card. And if you'll sign up through that, it won't cost you anything to sign up through that either, but I'll get a little bit of a commission for the signing up, and I would certainly appreciate it. But consider it. It's if nothing else, it's a type of savings account. the cash is already on your account, on your card that you use to pay for things that you're already going to pay for anyway. And then it helps you to stack the Satoshis, and it didn't cost you anything extra. So it's really neat. I kind of like it. So now I'm going to talk about where I can be found. Grandma'shomestead.farm. That's my website. I have my main channel is Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. That's my journey toward trying to put our place out here on this 40-acre plot into a home, into someplace livable, to homestead, to take care of different things. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and MeWe, Twitter, Rumble, all under variations of theciaellis, whatever. My farm animal life YouTube channel. I just take a camera in with some animals. Lately, I think I did something with little ducklings in the brooder and stuff, and so I stick a camera in there. Nobody's talking. There's no storyline. It's just animals being left to their own accord, doing their own thing. And it's kind of fun to watch, honestly. I even get to do, every once in a while, I go through the footage and pull out little snippets to show something funny and put them for shorts on different things too. So that's my Farm Animal Life YouTube channel. I don't do a lot with it all the time. My focus is on Grandma's Homestead and this Grandma's Life podcast, but that's another one that you can check out as something I'm doing too. All right, guys. I hope you stay cool. I pray that you find things for yourself to do. It's summer's here. We always get to the wintertime. It's like, oh, it's cold. I can't wait for the summertime to get here so we do things. Well, it's here, guys. Time to get up. Time to get out and do something. Time to get off the couch. Time to get off that recliner. Time to turn off the television and live. Live until you die, guys. This is it. God bless.